chromosomal basis of inheritance. This is a theory that was proposed in 1902 by two famous scientists named Sutton and Boveri. This theory was mainly produced or proposed only to overcome the Mendel's theory, that is, to overcome the limitations of Mendel's theory. That is the theory that was proposed by Mendel for heredity. According to this law, the chromosomes forms the physical basis of factors or genes which determine the heredity of living organisms. This theory was also known as chromosomal theory of heredity. Now, as we all know that although Mendel proposed the theory of heredity and variation, where he considered the basic unit as factors, but later on he found various limitations within the theory that was not acceptable by others. So, in order to overcome such limitation, these two scientists proposed in 1902 the chromosome theory of heredity, in which they predicted that chromosomes forms the basic of any gene or factor and it determines the heredity of any living organism. Now, what were the limitations of the Mendel's theory that allowed the scientists to prove the chromosome theory of heredity? First, within this theory, the communication was not easy. That is, the article in which his theory was proposed, there the language or the communication was not in easy terms. Second, Mendel's approach of using statistical analysis to explain the biological phenomena was totally new, and therefore it was not easy for other scientists to accept this statistical analysis record. Moreover, his thought on factors or genes that control the expression of traits was not totally accepted by all his contemporaries. That is, the scientists that were present other than him within the committee. For them, this theory was not easy to accept. Apart from this, in those days, when Mendel proposed his theory, the role of nucleus and existence of chromosome was not known. And as a result of which, the other scientists who did not knew about the concept of nucleus and chromosomes did not accept the theory. As a result, although Mendel proposed his law completely in 1866, but for the above reason, he was not able to publish his work. But later, in the year 1900, this theory was further improvised, and as a result of which, the other scientists recognized his theory. Now, this improvement in the theory was made by other scientists in 1900. Then, the theory of inheritance that was proposed by Mendel was totally accepted. These scientists who helped him to carry out such experiment was De Vries, Correns, and Van Seckermark. Thus, these were the scientists who independently rediscovered the Mendel's theory. And on this basis, the rediscovery of the Mendel's result on the inheritance of characters was done. Also, however, by this time, the advancement in various techniques like microscopy also occurred, as a result of which these scientists were able to carefully observe the chromosomal pattern, which helped them to understand the cell division and its process. So, it was the first that the chromosomal basis of inheritance concept was first proposed by Sutton and Boveri in 1902 that helped in improvising the Mendel theory results. Now, as we have already studied in the previous grades that how the gamete formation occurs through the process of reproduction. So, it was at that time when it was established that the chromosomes were separated during the formation of gametes. Now, as we all know that during of gamete formation, that is at the time of sexual reproduction, the mitotic and meiotic division occurs, due to which the separation of chromosomes takes place. So, it was at that time when this thing was first proposed. So, out of these gametes, the haploid gametes are formed through meiosis. So, during such time, the ovum with n number of cells fuses with the sperm, again with the n number of cells. That results into the formation of a diploid zygote with 2n number of cells. And how did it occur? Because of meiosis. So, it was at this time that the separation of chromosomes occurred, as a result of which further DNA multiplication and finally the formation of gamete occurred. So, on the basis of this study, Sutton demonstrated that various similarities occur in the behavior of chromosome that resembled the Mendel's factors. That is, there was a very close relation between this chromosomal behavior and the factors of heredity, or that was responsible for heredity and variation in Mendel's theory. So, what were these factors? As we all know that chromosomes are located in nucleus, and always occurs in a pair. Moreover, the Mendel's factor, that is the factor according to Mendel's theory, also occurred in pair. Then, each gamete, according to Mendel, possessed only one gene out of a pair. And therefore, the gamete formation occurred only because of the one gene or factor out of the two. Similar was in the case of chromosome, that each gamete possessed only one chromosome out of the two. That is out of a pair. In this manner, there were few similarities between the Mendel's hypothetical factors and the Sutton's chromosomes. On this basis, the Mendel's law of independent assortment can also be explained with the help of chromosomal basis. But along with these similarities, there were also few differences, like as we all know that organisms in general have a fixed number of chromosomes. Like for example in humans, that occurs 23 pairs of chromosomes. Similarly in other animals like dogs, they possess 39 pairs of chromosomes. In this manner, organisms of each and every species possess a fixed number of chromosomes. But according to Mendel's, that is the Mendel's factors, they are not considered exactly as chromosomes because according to Mendel, the factors are genes. And according to the modern concept, these are the genes that are located on chromosome. Moreover, the chromosome as well as genes although occur in pairs, but the number of genes can vary on chromosome. Unlike chromosomes which always occurs in a fixed number. So, accordingly, the two alleles of a gene pair are located on the homologous site on the homologous chromosome. Thus, that is the location of these genes that contains the alleles are located on the homologous site of the homologous chromosomes. So, accordingly, the Mendelian principle of heredity was not completely correct, but the combination of Sutton, knowledge of chromosomal inheritance, and the Mendelian principles were later together called as chromosomal theory of inheritance. Which completely proved the concept of inheritance. Thus, at the end, the together combination of the chromosomal segregation and the factors constituted the chromosomal theory of inheritance. And thus, on this basis, various aspects were also established which proved that the chromosomal basis were the laws of inheritance that was proposed by Mendel. This theory, with the further time, was also proved by another scientist named Thomas Hunt Morgan, who verified the theory. By working on Drosophila fly, whose scientific name is Drosophila melanogaster. Which is also known as fruit fly. So, it was this organism on which Morgan performed various experiments to verify the theory of chromosomal basis of inheritance, which proved that the genes, although were arranged on chromosome, but they were arranged in the form of linear pattern. Thus, according to him, the genes are arranged in linear fashion or linear pattern on chromosomes. Thus, this was all about the theory, the basics of the theory of chromosomal inheritance.